Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra T Designs, and today I am hanging out on the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to start by creating my card base. I really wanted to make a mini slimline card with this stamp and die set because I thought it would be so adorable. So that is what I'm going to make. So I like my mini slimlines to be 3 by 6 inches when scored. So I cut my base down to 6 by 6 inches, and then I'm going to cut my white piece of cardstock that I'm going to use my panel to be about 1/4 of an inch smaller than my base, and then my black mat will be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my base, just because I really like that thin border look. There's no right or wrong here. You could leave out the black mat if you don't prefer that, but I love how it helps all the colors pop, so I always kind of lean that direction, and I thought that it turned out really beautiful. And then here you're going to see that I am going to score at that 3-inch mark, creating my 3 by 6 inch base. And I'm going to show you how everything kind of lines up and what I mean by that kind of slim border. You could make the border bigger if you wanted to, but I knew that these stamps, especially the large snowman, wasn't going to fit terribly well with this, so I didn't want to make too many layers any smaller, but I think it turned out great. So for this card, I'm going to be working with the Fawn Frosty family stamps, dies, and stencils, as well as the Fawn Frosty family add-on stamps, dies, and stencils. So I have 6 products here, but I think these are so versatile. You can create your own little family, which is what I'm going to do today because I thought that that would just be incredibly cute. So I've got my little snow family here, and I've got everybody stamped out. As you can see, I did have to stamp the cats 4 times, as my husband and I have 4 rescues. And then of course there's him and I. So 2 adult snow people, and then the little snow cats, which I think is super adorable. And then a little bit of clothing for them to wear. Next, we're going to create the background. So I cut down a piece of masking paper here, and then I just drew a little snow hill, I guess it would be, to create my blended background. Now there's so many ways you could do this. I felt like masking it would be the easiest way for me to accomplish what I was going for, so that is what I ended up doing. And I just kind of laid that down, and I'm going to bring in some inks to blend. I thought that I would create kind of like a sun behind the snow people, but in the end, really the 2 bigger snowmen cover the sun, so you don't even really end up seeing it in the background. So keep that in mind if you want to make a mini slimline card. The snowmen or snow people do take up a lot of the real estate, but that was intentional when I did this card design in my head, so I am perfectly okay with it. You just don't end up really seeing the sun, so you more see the background color. And for those 2 colors, I did use Scattered Straw and Dried Marigold Distress Oxide ink. Oxide is my favorite ink. You could use any inks here. ScrapbookPal sells a lot of great ones, so whatever works for you, but I did opt to use my oxides. And then when I put the mask on the top, I did try to line it up just a touch down so that I would end up with a white border between the 2. In my head, I was treating that as kind of a reflection because I'm not intending to put any yellow in my snow for obvious reasons. But I mean, snow is very reflective, so technically the sun would reflect on the snow. However, because it's my card and I can be as whimsical or not whimsical as I choose, I opted to not have any kind of reflection really on my snow. I just went in with Tumbled Glass and Shaded Lilac, and I kind of mostly just went around the edges because I wanted the snow to still look white but have some shading to it so that it didn't look flat. Hopefully that makes sense. But I mean, again, it's not exactly accurate because you would have, yellow reflecting on your snow based on what I've done here, but that's okay. It's whimsical and it's cute and I love it, so it's all good. And then now I'm going to go in and kind of do the exact same thing I did to that snow hill. I'm going to just shade my snow people because again, I want them to be white, but they can't look completely flat. And I opted to go Tumbled Glass for kind of my husband's snow person. And then I went in with shaded lilac for my little snow person. And then I'm going to do all the other details because there is a stencil for each item here and it's so neat. So I had a lot of fun just kind of using these stencils to color in these images. But yeah, there is stencils for each image. And then there is a matching die for all the images as well. So this is pretty cool, this whole set. I brought in Lost Shadow as well, just to add a little bit of gray. I felt like it kind of helped some of the areas to be not white. Just because I thought that would be a great way for it to look. And then for my little cap and my little scarf, I opted to go in with Victorian velvet. Again, just because I think that that would be really cute, and I would love to own a little scarf and hat that matched, that was in this color. It's one of my favorite Oxide colors. It's just kind of this dusty pink, and it's really pretty, and I thought it would look really fun in this card. But then I kind of just go through and color in all of the things. I gave him a black scarf because I felt like it would match the hat, and I liked that matchy look for this. And then for the cats, I'm going to go in and do the same thing that I did for the snow people. I'm going to use those three colors, Lost Shadow, Tumbled Glass, and Shaded Lilac for the cats. I do actually have 2 gray cats, so those ones are mostly gray. And then I have a black cat who I did in the Tumbled Glass, and then I have an orange cat who I did in the Shaded Lilac. This is only because I wasn't going to bring in colors that didn't really make it look like snow, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously you could go in and add more realistic color to these, but they are supposed to be snow cats, so I guess in this instance it would just be like dirty-ish snow, which was not my intention. I just wanted some color on them that kind of reflected my cats in my household. So that is what I opted to do. And I did use my blending tool for this. I did go in with the mini blending tool as well, just because it went better with the small size of this stencil, but you can see that I'm using both here. It just depended. I went a little heavy-handed with the Shaded Lilac, but again, it looks pretty, so I'm okay with it. You probably want to use a smaller tool if you want to do that. I was just using whatever color was left on the tool for this part, so that's kind of what I was thinking. And then I brought in a little bit of low-tack tape and the dies, and I'm just going to run them through my die cutting machine. As I said, there is a matching die for every image, as far as I can tell, in this set, as well as an image on the stencil. So it's pretty easy to kind of put together. So if you wanted to do one of these for your family, I think it would be an incredibly cute Christmas card design to send out this year. And you don't have to do the hats if you don't want to. And there are hands as well, like little stick hands in the stamp set. I opted not to use them just because I didn't have a ton of room to start with, but there are little hands as well. There's a little dog. Like, there's so many other options in this. It's just that I wanted to reflect my family, so that is what I opted to choose here. But yeah, there's a little dog snow pal as well, so you can go through and make whatever your family is reflected as and then build this little card, and it's super, super cute. So then I just ran it through my die cutting machine, and now we're going to kind of start building the card. I am going to say that in the end, you're going to see me here in a little bit. I'm going to stamp faces on my snow people, and I wish I had colored in the noses. I have done that now, but I didn't do it while we worked through this video. I was going to just leave them. But once they were on the card design and they were actually against that kind of orangey background, I was like, oh no, we need a little pop of orange. So I did in the end go later, like after I had done all the editing on this video. I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I need a little more orange. So though you're not going to see it in this design, there is now orange noses on my snow people. So keep that in mind. But I did go in and just stamp in some details here. I added the faces. The little lady snowman has little lashes. I thought that was flippin' adorable. And then I added the little buttons, and you could go in and color those in. I left them, but you could add as much detail or as little detail as you want here. And I'm going to kind of start layering up my stuff and building my card. So I did add the little cap and scarf to my little lady. And then I'm going to add the black cap and scarf to my gent. And then I am going to add some white details later. I did go in and give the lady hat and scarf stripes, just because I thought a pattern would be really fun on that. You don't have to, extra step for sure, but it kind of just gave it something a little bit extra, and I thought it would be really fun. And I did add a little bit of white detailing as well, so you'll see that here in a second. And then I just went in and adhered all my layers. Now, because this is a fairly flat thing, you could absolutely go in and add some foam tape, pop it up, add a little more dimension if you wanted to. I didn't. I left it flat. I thought it was super cute the way it is. And I am going to add some dimension here in a minute. And knowing what I was planning to add, I opted to adhere everything flat because I do like to mail my cards. So I did want them, it to be fairly easy to mail. And you'll see why I say that here in just a sec. But you can see even in my blending, I've kind of lost my sun. And I did, sit there and think about adding more color. But I realized that my snowmen were going to cover the sun, so it really didn't matter that it was even there. Now you just kind of have this bright orange background. And in my mind, I think the family's just gone out to get some pictures taken, and they picked a beautiful sunset or sunrise, and they're just enjoying, the sun and the sky outside. So that is my idea for this card. I always kind of like to tell a story as I'm making some of these cards, especially with the lawn fawn items. I just find they lend themselves so well for stories. So I kind of in my head, I'm always telling myself this little story. It's kind of funny. But so here I have Mist and Shadow together, who are my gray and black cat. They're actually sisters. And then I have Shade and Ember together on the card as well, who are brother and sister. So I just kind of built my little family with my little snow cats, and I thought it turned out super adorable. And I only adhered them in the center so that I could easily tuck them behind each other or beside each other, however I thought they'd look the best. And then this is where I was going to add some extra dimension. So I went in with my Nuvo Deluxe glue, and I'm just putting kind of like snow lines is what I'm going to call them on the card. And then I'm going to add some microflakes. And this adds so much fun texture and interest to this card. I really like glitter. Now, obviously, if glitter is not your thing, you may not want to do this, but it did kind of just add some interesting texture to the bottom of the card. I do press it down into the glue to make sure it's going to stay there. And I did tap it a few times over my filter here. And then I did tap it pretty heavily over my garbage can to make sure that the pieces that were there were going to stay there. I also went in and added just a little more later, just because I thought that it was missing a little bit closer to the top. So you won't see it because I'm not going to show you again, but I did add just a touch more of the glitter to the little snow hill. And then this is where I'm going to go in and add my white details. So I went in and I added stripes to the little scarf and the hat because I thought that would be super cute. And I'm going to add some white detailing to the gent's hat and his scarf, and then the little cats, just because again, snow would be reflective. So in my mind, I'm thinking that the snow is reflecting. Super subtle, not needed, but I think it's a cute detail. And then I added snow in the orange sky. Now again, not super realistic, but I don't think it needs to be. I think this card is just cute and whimsical and fun, and it doesn't need to be realistic, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So I did go in and add just these little polka dots in the background for like falling snow. And that's kind of what I was thinking with it. You could, of course, go in with white splatter if you wanted to. I opted to just draw in some little dots. This doesn't take very long. But you could add splatter. You could put some extra microflakes in there, whatever you wanted to do. But this is the card I created. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you'll leave us a like, leave us a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. There are some wonderful designers on this team, and you will love everything they create. So hopefully you'll come back and check it out. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.